It's Miami, Florida State, dog. I mean, it's a rivalry. I look forward to any time they play. So, uh,
And let's be real. This is the battle for the sixth best team in Florida. So these boys are going to hammer it out. They jockeying for position to try to get some Florida athletes. Hey, this is your chance. You're going to be sixth or seventh in the state of
Yeah,
Florida.
the fanatic. Where we keep it 100, keep it real. That's the only way we know how to be. Talking that sports talk. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of South Carolina, upstate, A64. Yeah, the FANATTIC, the fanatic where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what
welcome into the Fan X Sports Channel for sports fans by sports fan. I'm your boy, Coach I.
And I'm the stat guy.
We're here to bring you another episode of our best games that we're looking forward to in 2022 by conference. Today is, as you can see up top 5 ACC games in 2022 that we are looking forward to. So, with that said, Stat Guy, you got any comments about the ACC before we get started?
Yeah, man. ACC fans, please do me a favor as a Carolina fan. Please remember your ABCs. Anybody but Clemson. That's all I care about. Somebody other than that ugly orange come out of this conference for me one time.
Hey, there it is, straight from the Gamecocks fans' mouth, man. Last year my boy Jeff was having a good year, even though South Carolina football team wasn't, because Clemson did not win the ACC. He was loving it, loving it, loving it. I can tell you personally. So let's just jump right in these games. And speaking of Clemson, man, two of the first of these 5 games have to do with Clemson. Clemson week 4. We got Clemson at Wake Forest. Last year, Clemson beat Wake Forest. Wake Forest beat NC State, and NC State beat Clemson. It was a good round robin. This year, Clemson goes to Wake Forest. This is going to be a huge game in the Atlantic, Jeff. I think Wake Forest is going to have some good offense, but I ain't too sure about that defense, man. And then on Clemson side, they gonna be sure about the defense, but we yet to see what they're gonna be like on offense because we don't know what the quarterback position is looking like. I mean, DJ slimmed down, but in the spring game, he still looked like he couldn't throw the 5 yard out. We shall see. Even still, I just think Clemson has way too much talent for Wake Forest, man. But this is a huge game. You can't go to Wake Forest and lose this game.
No, and we're looking at the ACC as again on the Atlantic side. It's going to be another round robin. These 3 teams just going to kind of beat each other up, and somebody's going to come out of it. I worry about Wake Forest defense. We know Clemson's front 7 is going to be brutal. Their secondary does have some question marks, has some underclassmen going to be starting, but that front 7 is elite. And so, hey, the game's at Wake. It's also week 4. We've mentioned before, hey, when Dabo's made some QB changes, it happened in that week. They play him a cupcake in week 3. Maybe Cade gets in there, lights it up, gets the fans up into a little bit. Hey, who knows? Could that be his first taste of ACC action?
It could be, like you said, Dabo's history is play the backup a lot in game 3, week 3, and then he announcing that he's the starter in week 4. That's kind of how it's either like game 3 or 4 or 5, kind of same way he did Deshaun and Cole Stout and then Trevor and Kelly Bryant. We'll see if that happens in 2022. That's week 4. Now Clemson turns around in week 5, another one of our top 5 games, and they got to play NC State. NC State beat Clemson last year. So even if Clemson goes to Wake Forest and beats them, repeating last year when they beat Wake Forest, they still got to play NC State, and NC State got the best of Clemson last year. NC State, to me, they may not have the best defense or the best offense, but they got the most well-rounded team. They got it on both sides of the ball. I think they return a lot of people. If Clemson hasn't gotten that quarterback situation figured out, they could be looking at back-to-back losses to NC State, man.
Yeah, no, NC State, I mean, the last, 7, 8 years, it feels like they were the team that was giving Clemson trouble. I mean, there was the year Clemson beat them because NC State missed the late field goal. I mean, so even the games they've lost, they've been in games. And so you look, coming out of spring, I think NC State is the best team in the ACC. If I was picking right now, they'd be my pick to win the ACC, but it's going to be a game. And again, it's just second matchup in the round robin effect. what's going to happen? Is Clemson coming off of a big emotional win, setting themselves up in good position to control their own destiny? Or are they coming off a loss and now they're scrambling and have to win a game? What's going to happen? Wait and find out. No matter what, it's going to be some good football.
That's right. That's back-to-back weeks. And speaking of what you're gonna do during the season, we got these Fat Addict T-shirts here. This is the black T-shirt with orange and white on it. Jeff got the charcoal T-shirt with the black and white on it. T-shirts are $25 plus shipping. Unless we can meet you, then it's just $25. You can get it customized in your team's favorite color. You can get at us on Twitter at Fanatic Sports, or you can get at us by shooting us an email, tfasportsnetwork@gmail.com. That'll all be in the description. So the next game is the last game in that round robin. It's NC State versus Wake Forest. Last year, Wake Forest got the best of NC State. This year, they got to travel to NC State. I think NC State's going to get some payback this year. And like you said, NC State, I got them 1 or 2 in the Atlantic. It just depends on what that quarterback situation look like at Clemson. If the quarterback situation is stable at Clemson, I don't see anybody beating Clemson in the ACC. At least definitely not in Atlantic. And I don't think they play Pitt in the crossover this year, even though they lost to Pitt last year. So what you think for that NC State Wake Forest game?
I think that could be kind of where we're at. Obviously that's what hurt Clemson last year. They had the crossover loss to Pitt. That's what kind of took them out of it when that Wake Forest NC State game happened. So, this year, I think this game could decide, hey, is it another 3-way tie? Is things going to get crazy in the ACC with tiebreakers? Or did somebody just win it outright? Should definitely be a fun game, though. I would love it if maybe one of those, like, that's the game that decides it, right? Like, that's your total championship right there. So, should be a fun game. And again, I think it comes down, though, NC State, while they're more of a complete offense, Clemson has the dynamics to be explosive on offense.
Yeah, they do.
They have the pieces there. NC State doesn't do that. They kind of grind it out a little bit more. I think this is a better matchup for Wake Forest than the Clemson game.
Yeah.
So I think that if I'm picking one, Wake has a better shot to win this game than they do to beat Clemson.
That's true. So NC State Wake Forest fans, let us know in the comments, man. Is this one of the the big time rivalry? I mean, for us that don't live in North Carolina, we know in basketball it's Duke, North Carolina. NC State, North Carolina can be kind of chippy, but is NC State Wake Forest a big time football rivalry? Especially with Wake Forest coming back to being competitive, which they hadn't been in some previous years. Let us know in the comments if it's big or if it's only an important game in the ACC that you're trying to win. The next game is the same week as the NC State Wake Forest game, which is week 10. It is Miami versus Florida State. I mean, even if neither one of these teams are in it, to try to get to the ACC championship, it's Miami, Florida State, dog. I mean, it's a rivalry I look forward to any time they play. So,
and let's this is the battle for the 6th best team in Florida. So these boys are going to hammer it out. They jockeying for position to try to get some Florida athletes. Hey, this is your chance. You're going to be 6th or 7th in the state of Florida.
Oh my God! Listen. That comes from the stat guy. I think Miami is currently. Honestly, it's kind of listen. I think Miami is. I don't think nobody has a claim to Florida right now. I don't think Miami, Florida, Florida State, UCF, FAMU. Who you got in front of Miami, Jeff?
And let me go with what is it? St. Aquarius High School. That's probably the best team in Florida right now, if we're going to be honest. But no, but look, the thing about this game is, I think both of these programs are battling for position. The kids nowadays that are graduating know that these teams used to be powerhouses, but don't understand what it actually used to mean.
Yeah.
They don't understand what the U and what that family actually stood for. They don't understand about the dominance that Florida State had back in the 90s. And so I think both programs are trying to get back there. I really do like the Cristobal hire. I think that's going to be big for Miami. Probably not year one, but give it a year or two. He's going to recruit. It's going to be good. Is Mike Novell the guy at Florida State? That's the question. He's got to start putting things together. How many more years? Oh, just another year, just another. They need to see some real gains this year. Even if it's not wins and losses, at least be competitive.
Yeah.
And I think that's been the biggest disheartening thing on the outside looking in, because being a purist, man, I want the good teams to be good.
Yeah.
Like college football, it's good for college football when the U is the U. It's good for college football when Florida State is Florida State. And so to see them just uncompetitive is just sad and hard to watch. So hopefully they're at least competitive this year, maybe pull out a couple wins that they've been games that they've lost in years prior. And maybe late in the season, maybe this has something on the line and we see a big time matchup down in the Sunshine State.
I think, as you alluded to, I think this might be a make or break year for Mike Norvell. I know this is his 4th year at Florida State. I mean, you got to start showing us something. You know what I mean? And Cristobal, he wanted to be, back in Miami. He's back in Miami where he wanted to be. This could go a long way for recruiting, even if it doesn't do a lot for the ACC Coastal or Atlantic or the championship game, because none of the schools in Florida right now pretty much have a lock on, any area in Florida, especially South Florida. I mean, those areas have been getting, pillaged by Georgia and Bama and Clemson and some Ohio State. It's just like, if this right here, if you can go out and convince somebody you're back to being Florida State or you're back to being Miami, now you can talk those South Florida kids into coming back. I mean, I know we got the NIL, but everybody's got NIL, some more than others, but you still got to show it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the kids still got to be there 3 years, whether they're playing or not. So that's going to be an important game. And then to cap it all off, Pitt at Miami. Pitt is going to Miami looking for some revenge. They did win the Coastal last year, but they took an L to Miami. Normally, I look at this game as one of the deciding games in the Coastal. It's normally between Pitt, Miami, and North Carolina. North Carolina lost Sam Howell, so I don't know how they're going to replace that guy and compete with the likes of Pitt and Miami. But Pitt also is in high jeopardy of losing their best wide receiver. Addison is in the transfer portal, and hanging out with Bryce Young, as if Alabama needed another wide receiver. I did see on social media today, somebody said, how many more wide receivers does Alabama need to beat Georgia? That's not from me. I did think it was funny, though. But listen, I think Alabama's already loaded. Side note, I know we're talking about ACC, but if they get Addison, I don't know, and they all stay healthy, it's going to be crazy, because I believe Bryce Young's the best quarterback in college football. So we'll see how all that plays out. But Pitt at Miami,
I think this game decides the Coastal. I do think that Cristobal is going to do some stuff at Miami. I think they're going to be a little bit more exciting on offense. I think we're going to see a little change. The ACC they're a good conference this year. It's not as down as it's been. They got more teams that are going to be competitive. And I think Miami can hang around, beat some people. Maybe Pitt gets upset by somebody else. Obviously, they got the transfer from USC coming in to play QB. But if they lose Addison, their offense isn't as dynamic. Maybe they get beat or tripped up by somebody, and this game is playing for the Coastal Championship.
That's true, man. And like you said something about the ACC, being pretty decent this year. A lot of fans, especially SEC fans, and actually in recent social media history in 2022, I've been seeing Big Ten fans going to ACC fans. But ACC is gonna be, I think the best since like 2013, since Jimbo and Jameis was at Florida State. I think Clemson, NC State, Wake Forest is going to be good. Louisville returns a lot on their team, so they're going to be competitive. Then you got Pitt and Miami, and then Virginia's got one of the better quarterbacks. Now, whether or not they can block for the dude is yet to be seen. But I think this is going to be the best year for the ACC in a long while, and that's good because we're here in the Southeast. So I like for the Southern teams to be good. So. Anything else as we wrap up on the top 5 games of the ACC, Jeff?
Man, that's it. Looking forward to them ripping each other's heads off and having a good season.
All right, and then recap. We got Week 4, Clemson at Wake Forest. Week 5, Clemson at NC State. Week 10, 2 games, NC State versus Wake Forest and Miami versus Florida State. The rivalry, wide left, wide right. You know what it is. And then week 13, Pitt at Miami for possibly a ticket to the ACC Championship. But Jeff the Stat, guys, this is Coach I. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe with a fanatic.
We got it jumping like it's that valley. I call my dogs out the pound, let's go eat. Turn on the fanatic, let's have a debate. Who really hold down the Southeast from state to state? What team hungry?